Daytime with Aston Avery. Stephen Smith joins me, but joining us right now is one of the UK's leading models, actress, writer, publisher, and that's Corrine Tuddenham She. So, Corrine, pleasure to be chatting to you on Gateway today.
Hi, Corrine. How are you?
Hello, Stephen, and pleasure to meet you, Aston. This is absolutely fabulous to have you both on the same screen.
Is that a dress you're wearing? Or,
it's a jumpsuit, actually, Stephen. Yes, the sun has come out and it's rather plunging.
Plunging. Jumpsuits and are becoming really, really fashionable again, aren't they? I mean, did you see the Eurovision Song Contest this weekend?
Oh, my goodness.
And he had the most amazing jumpsuit on.
Wasn't it beautiful?
Yeah, it was
absolutely beautiful.
It was just stunning, and congratulations, the UK coming second.
I know. I was jumping up and down. I could not believe what I was seeing.
I couldn't believe when I was seeing all these posts like saying the UK's leading. I was like, really? Really?
Yeah. I just need to know what it was. What has turned this around this year?
No, it's a really good song and a great singer. And I think the past have been a bit wishy-washy.
Do you think?
Yeah, I did. There's not one I can sing Starman now, and it's a really good song, and the rest are really middle of the road. Considering we have some of the best singers in the world living in the UK, there's no excuses there.
Yes, and there's nothing to see through with him as well. Yeah. He is what you get, and he just looks such a lovely, lovely person.
You know, a lot said for the hippies. It looks brilliant.
Well, yes.
But I love the look. Anyway, we're here to talk about bullying today.
What about bullying?
Yeah, and all our guests have been amazing and shared their stories. Aston, do you want to kick off?
So with that being said here, Stephen's rightly said we are chatting about bullying here today, Corrine, as well. So surely you've never experienced any bullying in your time here?
Well, everybody looks at me and thinks, well, there's no way anybody would bully me. I mean, Stephen's laughing. No, it just wouldn't happen. But it did happen. And it happened when I was about 12 or 13. So it was the move to high school. I think I was pretty safe in primary school. Yeah. My dad was a police officer in this region. And everybody knew, but when we reached secondary school, nobody knew who I was. So we were back to base. We were back to square one. Nobody knew who Corrine was.
Yeah.
And I was an only child and I was spoilt. I will openly admit I was spoilt. I had a mother who did openly spoil me, did my hair for me every day, made sure my top button was done up. And I guess I stood out when I went to school, and I was, well, culprit number one, or person number one. They could absolutely do what they liked with me. Not physically. I can't say that I ever suffered anything physically, but emotionally and verbally, they went for it.
It must be quite frightening then, wasn't it?
It was frightening, and I didn't dare tell my mum and dad. So I'd just go each day.
That's really interesting. All we're talking about this, you daren't tell your mum and dad, the two people that love you. Why?
Mine, as I said, my dad was a police officer.
Yeah.
And I, at that age, was confused as to what the repercussions would be.
Yeah.
Would it be embarrassing for him in his position to have to go to the school and say my child is being bullied and whatever? And I certainly didn't want that. My mum was a typical housewife and brought me up as a normal housewife in Essex.
Yeah.
And she was not what I would say a strong woman. Yeah. Perfectly great mum, perfectly looked after my dad and me to the hilt. But if you put her in a situation where there was any form of conflict, she would not have been able to have held her own. Yeah. So I thought, I can't look to her and I can't look to him. So therefore, I keep it quiet.
So what you're saying there is you were frightened to disappoint them.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I just did not want to bring that to their door.
So, Corrine, in reflection, there are kids right now being bullied, and some of them physically bullied as well, who are in the same position as you and frightened to disappoint or to. What would you say to them?
Well, they will have friends, their own friends of their same age, and even if it's just one friend, it takes an awful lot of courage to open up to the one friend. And the one friend's probably seeing it as well. And it might even be that one friend that then approaches a teacher. There will always be a teacher in the school who will look and say, as been said before, if anything happens or if I see it, I will step in. But the thing is, though, as a child, you don't know, again, what the repercussions are going to be. It could go catastrophically wrong, and that you are seen approaching a teacher, or a teacher approaches and it escalates the problem. So sometimes that's not always the best route. It's so difficult to judge it as a child.
You know, Aston, Corrine and I go way back. You'll never guess because we're so young looking, but so I'm sure Corrine will agree with me that sometimes the brighter the light, the more flies it attracts.
No.
And in particular, bullies attract. And you're a superb model. I see you on the what they call the catwalk or the walkway. Amazing. Have you found that being fabulous has been a hindrance in some way to you?
It does. Exactly as you say, it does attract, and it is how you deal with it. I mean, if you turn around and deal with it absolutely face on and shouts to the hills and whatever, you then be given a persona that's the sort of person that you are. But you can sense it. As you get older, you can sense when it's on its way. You can sense when someone's perhaps got a little bit, they just say something in a sentence that you think, here we go, this is going to go wrong. And it's a lot of nipping in the bud. Let's steer it the other way because we're not going down that road. And I think a lot of it is, especially when you walk into a room, people gauge you up and down. And I'm quite tall. People will look me up and down.
How miss you, are they?
They're not going to miss me. And then they'll look at me and think, now, which way is this going to go? Is she going to be a little wallflower or is she confident? But then there's the fine line of being confident without being braggy and arrogant and cocky. But this is the barrier with bullies. If they know that there is confidence on the other side of the wall, they won't even go there. They'll back off. So all it takes is just confidence as an adult, confidence that you think, no, I don't think I actually will challenge that.
You know, you have to wonder when the bullies go home and go to bed, what they think of themselves, that they've just made someone unhappy, to make themselves feel a little bit happier.
Well, this is the thing about bullying. It's a lack of emotional intelligence. I mean, we've met several people on our journey with the magazine, and you sat and you thought, you know what, I could absolutely lay you flat on the floor with words. I know exactly in my head which words could actually make you look very, very small indeed. But I won't do it because there's other people's feelings. You just don't know which buttons you're pressing on the other side.
The aggressive brigade, who really are bullies at full stop, when they say little things like you arrive and they say, well, how's your little show going?
Your little show, it's the little word.
What I was doing, my favourite line is, don't be so sensitive. If you bother to challenge, they've just said, well, is there any ratings? Constantly coming across.
Well, a lot of it is dealing with things head on. So had it been something like that word, that little show, you would literally throw it back at them saying, oh, it's not so little now. Have you seen it recently? Have you actually watched it? Do you know what our ratings are? Throw it back into...
I just can't be bothered to deal with it. But, Corrine, I can't be bothered to do. I find it almost amusing in some way. I can't be bothered to come back at them because they're just such a waste of space. And the fact they have to sit down and say something like that to you, you just think you're not Maggie Smith.
And it doesn't roll off the tongue. It's been purposely put together. They know that word little is going to be the button.
I've learned it's not worth my breath over the years.
No, it's not.
And it's a great story to share with another friend. You go, she said to me, or he said to me.
Corrine, as a lot of people say, it's always want to look as if everything's okay there, and people will say that, of course. But is it time that that a lot of us tell children that it's okay not to be okay at times?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. This is where a lot of the problems then go forward into adult life, because it wasn't nipped in the bud right at the very beginning. I mean, we don't want children to be precious, that every little thing that goes wrong that they go up like a light and it's all great catastrophe. They've got to be able to balance and gauge, and it's a learning curve. There will be things happening in your life that are major, but then things that are minor, but you don't act in a major way with the minor thing, because when the major thing comes along, that's it, you are absolutely gone. We're not robots at the end of the day. We're human beings, and we all have feelings and we all have emotions, and nobody's life is completely on one line all the way from start to finish. There will be this along the way. It's just a matter of how you deal with it. And most definitely with children, they do need to be told that bullying is not acceptable, that if somebody does do it, that it is out of line. It is out of line, and people do need to be aware of it. And also, perhaps as far as you could even explain it to a child, if they are just starting to be bullied, if they feel that they're being bullied, that they've got to nip it right at the very beginning, because it could actually be helping the bully. Because if they raise it there, it could be explained to them, they have got a problem, not you, they have got a problem, that's why they're picking on you, a little bit perhaps of jealousy, but that needs to be stopped, because if it's not stopped, that's going to get bigger, and when you walk away, that's going to be an enormous problem for them in the future. It will go into their adult life, and that will be it.
And sometimes kids mirror what they see at home, if the mother's being bullied, or so they're seeing, they bring it to school.
Yes.
So just by talking about it, you can start nip a few other things in the bud as well. Anyway, what's more important, what we really want to talk about as well, is your fabulous magazine. So Corrine is an amazing magazine, super glamorous. I am going to be writing a column for it.
You are, Stephen. It's a long time coming, and eventually
So can you tell us a little bit about our listeners about the magazine?
The magazine is called VOUZ magazine, VOUZ exclamation mark, as in like OK magazine, but not at all like OK magazine. So we're at www.vouzmagazine.com. Just take a look. Now, the magazine is in digital format, and it's also in printed format as well. And it's a luxury magazine at the end of the day. Now, we all love a little bit of luxury. We all love to look at some things. But how many times do we actually have access to actually enjoy it and absorb it? So we wanted to be a little bit like the big boys, like, say, the Vogues and the Tatters and the Harper's Bazaars, but we wanted it to be without all of those adverts that you keep raking through till you get to the magazine, and it looks much the same as the next magazine, looks the same as last month. This magazine, you never know what's going to be on the next page, and it can be anything from the Trump's plane. Do you remember his luxury plane that's just now parked on an airport? We covered that. It's got beautiful inside. I mean, it's a sight to be seen, but when did we know about that? We've got the most beautiful high couture jewellery, but we don't just do it in very small pictures. We actually blow it across the page so you can see it. It's an exceptional magazine, and someone actually quoted to us, "I'd love to live in your magazine," and that was it.
Oh, it's really super. Aston says there a new column coming out. Stephen looking at everything. You know, I'm not short of a word or two.
No, that's right. There'll be plenty of content from you.
But listen, Corrine, I hope you come on the show again, because you've been a great guest.
I'd love to come on again. It's been wonderful.
It's been really interesting hearing people that people almost think bullies. Bullies going to be someone that the least expect, and having the guests on today shows everyone can be bullied.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and it's how you deal with it. You learn from it, and you think to yourself. You treat yourself as almost like a brand. A brand protects itself, and you, the person, has to protect. You have to protect yourself as well. And it's not acceptable, and you do not put up with it. Like I say, you don't come over as arrogant, but you nip it in the bud. And you very nicely say, I am not accepting this because I don't warrant it. I don't deserve this.
Yeah, nobody deserves to be bullied, trust me.
Yeah.
So, Corrine, is there anything else you got lined up?
Well, we got lined up. We got some fabulous things coming up. Next week, I think it is, we've got a parachute jump for the Pink Ribbon Foundation that we're covering. So that is going to be wonderful. And Jay, who I think you've had on already today.
He was supposed to come on today, but he's filming. So he
Well, he's actually going to be jumping out of the plane, but he's going to be our front cover. And he's going to be our front cover for Pride Month. Oh, we can't wait to do that magazine. That is going to be superb with him on the front and so many contributors.
It's quite daring, I just have to say here, Corrine, because you sell quite a bit in the Middle East. And we know the Middle East isn't very keen on Pride.
Yeah.
Prison.
Well, I'm going to have to put up with it. That's what's going on the front of our magazine. And
Brilliant.
Stephen, I'm an Anna Wintour here. I can put in my magazine what I like. And if I want pride in my magazine, I will have pride in my magazine.
Brilliant. I'm really excited about it. But are you going to be jumping out with Jay taking the pictures?
You must be joking, Stephen. I'm very much on the ground, and I shall be zhuzhing Mr. Fabulous up, ready for his photo for the front page. So no, I'm not.
Because both Aston and I have both done sky jumps for charity. I did it for pancreatic cancer, and what, Aston?
Oh, that's a lot, really. And I've done it for a local lad to get adaptations for their wheelchair as well. So,
oh, right.
Yeah, we both did it.
Is it one of those things, both of you, that once you've jumped, you think, oh, it was terrible to think of doing it, but now I've done it, I want to go and do it again?
I felt that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I went straight to the pub and celebrated. I was so thrilled.
It's the landing. It's the landing that I worry about. It's scared of heights, but if someone pushed me out, I'd be fine. But it's the landing.
I was so busy calming the woman next to me down because she was in such a state. I forgot it was my turn, and then they pushed me out. I went, oh.
There we go then.
I think the big brother of me came on. Thank you so much. Come on again, please.
I will do. Lovely to see you both.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.